Hello, everyone out there, and welcome to the SOIL Poodcast. That's right.
Poodcast.
The podcast with more O. At least one more. That's what we got. I'm Matt, the guy in the purple, and go around the room, everyone introduce themselves.
Hi, guys. My name is Ethan.
Jacob from SOIL Horror Productions.
And I am the one and only Farmer Billy Hills, bringing some class to this Poodcast.
That's true.
Some class to the Poodcast. I like that.
Yeah, because we're just four dudes sitting around shooting the pood, man.
I know, right? We should actually trademark that, shouldn't we?
We should.
We should.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We should now.
Like every time we say it, like, you know, a little TM pops up next to our heads every time.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like every time, you know, remember in the Warner cartoons, they always used to have that little trademark pop up when they mentioned Batman, like in Animaniacs and all that stuff.
Yes.
Oh, well, you know what? Speaking of the Bat family, so in news, this last, I guess it's been going on about a week and a half now, with the CW show Batwoman, Ruby Rose has just suddenly up and left the series.
I read about that. Did she give any reason whatsoever?
Well, okay, so there are a couple official/unofficial stories. There is where she was actually booted out, like the CW, the production company wasn't, or directors weren't happy with her. There's a story to where she says that she didn't like the work schedule of being in a full-time series, which to me doesn't make...
If I was making thousands of dollars per episode, I don't think I would care about the schedule.
I mean, come on, we all have worked worse jobs.
Yeah, currently.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't get it. So, and I have a feeling we won't really actually know the complete and total story on this one for some time, and it'll leak out eventually, I'm sure.
Because when DC did their new 52 lineup back, I think it was in 2014, I read the Batwoman comics, like, the entire run, and I loved it.
Oh, I have always loved the character of Batwoman. I've just never, ever gotten hooked on this series. I mean, in episode 3, the main villain for the whole first season arc already knows who she is. I'm like, and as the episode's going on and on and on, more and more people find out who Batwoman is, and it's just kind of crazy to me.
I think by the end of the whole first season, I think all of Gotham City knew who she was.
I think they put up on a billboard.
Yeah.
You can't be serious.
Pretty much.
I think it's
Kate
pretty much...
came Batwoman.
Oh, my God.
Let's be honest,
Yeah.
guys. The last Batman movie I watched would have to be The Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, Worth Bane that talks like this.
That is exactly it.
That's still not a bad last thing to watch.
Well, I've
Less
watched
Batman.
the Harley Quinn show on...
Which is absolutely hilarious on
yes,
the DC
cartoon,
universe.
yeah. But
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
So everything you guys have just talked about, I'm like, what?
Well, okay, so, Jacob, I'm going to
There
blow
was
your...
a bunch of reasons.
I'm going to
wrong
blow
with
your
this
mind
show.
a little further. You guys ready for this?
I don't think it could go
So,
any further.
oh, no. And I have cross-referenced this source a couple of times on a couple different websites. Currently, they're going to not recast Kate Kane for this next season. What they're going to do is...
I'm glad I'm sitting down for this.
Yeah, you might want to, if you weren't already. But they're not even going to recast Kate Kane. They're going to just introduce another person who's going to be Batwoman. And from everything I've been able to pull together here, it's basically she's a former drug dealer who lives in a van and has a pet plant. I mean, I'm not making this up. This is
So
what,
is this like Little Shop of Horrors? Almost?
you know.
Poison
I'm
Ivy,
wondering.
or-
I'm
But
wondering
in
here.
a van down by the river with Chris Farley?
Is it around the river or near the river?
Well, I might have, embellished a little bit on that.
No.
But but they're talking about seriously living in a van and having a pet plant or something like this, and this is going to be the new Batwoman.
Because if I like anything about my superhero, it's them living on the poverty line.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, if this is what it becomes, I feel like this is just like Scooby and Shaggy. You know, if the plant talks
Zoinks,
or whatever, that's kind of what I feel like this turns into. Because
Zoinks!
she's in a van. She has a plant, Might as well be Scooby, because I'm sure they're going to make this freaking plant talk by the end of it all.
They're going around solving mysteries.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
That's just a crazy trip that Shaggy and Scooby's on right now after there's a few too many snacks. Let's be real here. Goodness gracious,
So
what
they're
are they
gonna-
thinking?
I don't know. But on the converse side, I want to bring you some happy news about the CW.
Yay.
Have anyone seen Stargirl yet?
Me.
No.
Not yet.
Oh my
interested.
gosh, I have been nothing but impressed by the show so far.
Yeah.
Is it
I-
live action or?
Yeah,
is
it's
it
Yes,
live.
it
It's a
is.
live action on CW. Basically, Stargirl's Courtney Elizabeth Whitmore, and she was created by Jeff Johns back in '99. So by comic book terms, only 20 years old. But that's still young as far as how comics would go. And it kind of goes off on its own here because it deals with the golden age heroes known as the JSA, the Justice Society of America,
Oh,
with
okay.
like the classic Jay Garrick Flash, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, Dr. Fate.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
yeah.
And one of my favorite things is they're doing the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, who is not part of the Green Lantern Corps, but he's
Right.
actually kind of on his own thing, and I think it's really cool. Right now, I believe it's Luke Owens is also starring in this thing, and he's
Yep.
playing her stepdad, Pat, who develops some tech and everything. Like he's a giant mecha robot suit called Stripe. It's very, very cool. The visual effects look really well so far. Basically, the long and the short of it, for those of you who don't know about Stargirl, she basically inherits this thing called the Cosmic Staff or the Cosmic Rod, depending on which interpretation of the
Giggity.
character you go by. Do we have a giggity count?
Yep,
Is
that's
that gonna-
one.
Is that going to be a thing?
Yep, that's one. Ting, one.
Well, anyway, she inherited this from the original Starman, and just kind of like she doesn't really have superpowers, so to speak. It's just the power is in the staff,
Giggity.
and it can fly, and it
Ting,
can
two.
do all that stuff like that. So,
Okay.
gives her flight, energy projections. I think maybe kind of like a force field type thing. It's kind of an interesting show so far, and
And in the show, it kind of has a mind of its own, which is pretty cool.
yeah, it really does.
So-
The staff is like kind of sentient. It's kind of
Okay.
kind of interesting. But I don't know. It's one of those things like for the CW, who's how long has the Arrowverse been going on there, Farmer?
Oh
Oh,
my gosh! They're in,
goodness.
they ended like in
It's-
season 9 or something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that would put it at
Oh my
close to 10 years.
Yeah, it'd be right in that pocket. I remember watching some of the earlier episodes of Arrow with my son when he was like really young and everything like that. So,
So
I will fact
So,
check
um,
this.
well, and it's like I said, so far visually and like storyline and pacing, I don't feel like I'm a moron when I'm watching it. Kind of like how I was when I was watching Batwoman.
So question.
Yeah.
We can all agree that Marvel, their big claim to fame are their movies, correct?
I think that's pretty fair.
Okay, so as far as we go with the DC, we know their movies for the most part have been, in my opinion, I have not enjoyed them.
Lackluster at best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Besides a few
But
gems
They're
that
very
arrive.
hit and miss.
But like the shows, the cartoons, the cartoon movies. the
Oh, those have
animated
been
movies.
fantastic.
So yeah, I mean even back to like '90s, Batman Beyond,
Right.
which I do like. I do like Batman Beyond.
Now,
Yes, you do.
I did. I had to give you crap yesterday.
I know.
And I mean, I don't know. I just feel like DC has like a capital on their
I don't want to say
cartoons.
I don't want to say lesser
and-
media,
yeah.
but like the more
Like
the stuff that we
Flashpoint
like.
Paradox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, here's the thing about that. So just backtrack just a second. Arrow started in 2012.
Okay,
So,
but
boom, fact check
8
right there.
years.
So
but
8
there's
years.
there's still kind
Okay.
of getting towards that almost 10 years with
Right.
mythos and backstory and everything like that.
Now, with their animated platform, let's be realistic. The studio isn't just directly or the top of them over a few $1,000s like in an animated TV show. Whenever you're
Agreed.
talking, millions of dollars in movies, you're going to have a few more eyes on you to see what's going into that product.
Maybe they
And
need
we
to get
already
fresh eyes.
know, because one of my topics that I want to talk about is what we're getting on HBO Max coming out next year was finally the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Finally, that's able to happen. And we know why. It's because those studio heads are gone.
Did we just have a first transition to a new topic?
I think we did.
I think so. But that has been the downfall of most of the DC movies, except for Wonder Woman, which for me,
Performed
I
really
absolutely
well.
loved it.
and in the box
was so
office, it
good.
performed really well as
Yep,
well.
and it's still doing really well, and it still holds up to being the best DC movie made so far.
Yeah, I
I
can't
haven't
disagree with
watched
that at all.
That's okay.
You have
That's
not
okay if
watched
you have not watched
I
it.
have not watched
Okay, it's a treat to behold, and I would also hold it almost to the same level as Shazam, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
Oh,
Yes.
Shazam was
One of his
fantastic
other
as
ones.
well.
I've not watched
100%.
it.
But the fact that we are finally going to get the Snyder cut of Justice League and not the watered down, no offense to Joss Whedon because he's done amazing things, watered down Joss Whedon studio cut of Justice League. We're finally going to get the actual vision of the person who was originally making this movie. I am so anxious to see what he's able to do with it because he's already given us glimpses of Apocalypse. He already gave us that. So that's amazing. We already know that we're getting more Cyborg in it. He's already putting some images out of that, which I just seen like maybe 30 minutes ago because I was just looking. And I'm also anxious to see, is he going to put it out as one big 4 or 5 hour movie? Or are they going to turn this into like a 6-part series?
I'd really like to see it as a mini-series. I mean, maybe that's just me, but
Yeah.
I think it would flow better.
Is everybody on board, actor-wise?
To my understanding, yes.
So
Everyone
the
that was-
reshooting
Ev-
and everything.
They're just key stuff.
Okay.
So I think they've put
Well, from-
money-wise, I think about $30 million into reshoots.
Well, and from what I was seeing, I don't mean to interrupt you,
No,
or anything
no,
like that, Farmer, but whenever I was watching something about 4 or 5 months ago on the Snyder Cut, the Snyder Cut actually is somewhere right as we sit now, before they even went to this thing. I want to say it's like in the 80-something percentile shooting-wise complete.
Yep.
Because it was the original story for the Justice League movie, and a lot of the stuff is shot. But now, of course, with what they've adapted and what they reshot for the Whedon cut, they're going to have to go back and do some reshoots, obviously. Have you heard anything? Have they even teased about possibly, because I know Green Lantern was supposed to be in the original story, have we heard anything about My Favorite Lantern Corps?
No. No. So right now, the only ones confirmed are Darkseid and Martian Manhunter. Those are the only two.
Let's see, I'm totally down for that. I mean, it's just...
I have yet to see anything because Green Lantern, he is getting his own HBO Max series standalone.
Well, but that's
So
one
I don't
of
see
the
him in the
reasons
movie.
because I thought, since I knew they were trying to, and I didn't want to take anything away from anyone else who's wants to talk about this, but
No.
I knew that it was also going to be on HBO Max.
Right.
So it was one of those things where it's like, hey, that would be a great way to soft launch a GL in this whole thing and at least get something.
It very well could. I mean, it's going to... I feel it's going to be one of those things to where Zach plays a lot of things kind of close to his chest with this and give us a few surprises.
That's probably for the best, honestly.
Because of how much fight and work has gone into this. I think he's going to play a few cards closer to his chest and then give us a few surprises. So there's probably going to be a good chance that we might get a Green Lantern in it.
So side topic, real quick. Just because we've been talking about the Justice League, does anybody remember Super Friends?
Well, of
Of course we
cartoon?
do.
Okay, when
Not a
are we?
bit.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen Sewer
Oh, it's
Friends.
so good. So when are we gonna get? And I can't recall the character's name, but the Indian man who
Apache Chief.
Yes, that
Apache Chief.
That's his name.
Oh,
That's his
God,
name.
That's his name.
He's like
The
my
guy-
he's like my favorite character. I haven't watched the show since I was like a little kid. Like
He's
young,
the guy that
young.
he gets
doubles,
giant.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know
Yeah,
why. He's like
he
my
mutters
favorite
that
character.
that word. I think it's a Nick Chalk or something like that.
Yeah, and then he just gets... No.
Yeah. When are we gonna get a show or a movie with him?
I don't know. There's like some of those that
No.
like were kind of spawned that character. Like El Dorado was on Super Friends. I'm trying to think if there's a it was a character called El Dorado.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We have Zorro. Let's leave it with Zorro.
I don't disagree with you on that one.
So Schneider.
Giggity.
That's
Ping! 3.